All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Visual. I am your host, lifestyle and advertising photographer, Mark Hansen. And this is the podcast where I interview all those people responsible for the images and videos you see out in your world every single day. And today, my guest is Lisa Kunst. She is the senior integrated content producer, or a senior integrated content producer. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. She's been in the business for a while. She's had her clients are pretty much anybody you can think of, except for McDonald's. But other than that, she's pretty much done it all. We talk about some shoots she did for United Health, where one dude's covered in bees and how they did that. Another one, this frisbee shot where these two dudes are jumping and trying to get a frisbee, and it looks like they're going to fall flat on their faces. And we talk about how that was done. We talk about a shoot she did down in Cabo where the client really loved the model that they had picked out a few weeks or a month or so earlier. And then when the model showed up on set, something had changed about her and they had to make some quick adjustments. So be sure and listen to find out what that is. And we talk about how she loves to do portfolio reviews and pretty much everything else, locations that she's been to, clients that she's been with, cool locations that she's been to. Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. How a hurricane kept her locked in paradise for an extra 2 or 3 days after a shoot. So listen up. Let me know what you guys think about it. Like it, subscribe to it, comment, all that kind of stuff. Thumbs up it. Let me know, and look forward to hearing from you. So your last name, okay, what was it in Dutch and what? Your last name means art in Dutch and what?
German.
German.
A Kunstler is an artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you grow up artistic?
Um, I I did. Art has always been a part of my life. I've been drawing and painting and actually taking photos too, since I was a kid. And I also went to school for interior design.
Oh, wow. You know what I just thought of? You should, do you know Pete Favret from Deutsch LA? He's chief creative over at Deutsch in LA.
I know the name, but we haven't met
Anyway,
personally.
he has an Instagram thing where he takes people and he puts them up in their last name and says how their name, first or last name, coincides with what they do now or what they've done. So he was
Mhm.
like, Steve Jobs created a lot of jobs by starting, with Apple.
Yeah.
And so you should be on his list.
You know what? That would make sense. That would make sense. So yeah.
Were you always drawing from like at a young age or taking pictures and or running around
Yes,
the house?
yeah,
Was anybody in your
yeah.
house artistic?
I would draw, sketch, like since I was a kid, and I didn't start picking up a camera until I want to say, maybe end of grade school, high school, because what I was doing is I was photographing items that I could then draw and paint.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so that's how it started. But I was also an art director too, and a graphic designer before I moved over to becoming like an art content producer.
How did all that get started? Did you go to school for
um,
that?
well, you know what? I did. I went to the American Academy of Art. I started at Campbell Methune, and I actually started out as a receptionist and moved back into the mount room, into the creative department. And at the time, they helped pay for my schooling at night. Wasn't
That's
that nice?
nice.
So I went to the American Academy of Art at night, and then graduated and became an art director, and used to shoot both motion and print.
Oh
So
wow.
I did that, and then opened up my own design studio a little bit after that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
And
impressive.
yeah, and I had a design studio where, when you have your own business, you wear a lot of hats, and
Oh yeah.
I would be taking everything from concept through production, and working in a lot of different mediums there as well. And then when I finally went back to the agency world, I went back, as in production, as like an art producer, content producer. So yeah.
What made you go out and open your own studio?
I wanted to try it,
Yeah.
to be honest
Were you
with you, Mark.
scared?
Yes, but excited at the same
Yeah.
time. It was a great experience. It was
Oh
really
yeah.
great. In fact, I think that my experience and skills from when I was an art director and had the design studio, helps me today with like sourcing talent, communicating, the creative's vision, understanding a little bit about, their vision, and being able to like just help them along the way too,
Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's amazing. There's a lot of help with that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So how long were you working at the agency before you decided to open your own place?
Mm, I would say I don't have like the actual, how you're like, let me count the years.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe about 7 or 8 years.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
definitely a good amount of time to kind of get your whole thing going, and
Yeah.
know what you're doing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was fun. It was really fun. I enjoyed it.
So how long did you have your own design studio?
About 7 years.
Oh wow. That's a good number for you.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So yeah, so that's really how I started.
Do you
So
remember your first like memorable big shoot? Was there anything where you did where you're like a little nervous going into it? Like somebody came to you and said, "Hey, here's your client. Here's the client we're working on." And you're like, "Oh God, I gotta make sure I don't screw this one up."
um you know what? I'll date myself if I um let's see. Uh I'm trying to think what I don't remember what my actual first shoot was, but there it was one for a catalog. I remember that there was one for a catalog, and now we don't even have catalogs
Oh, I
anymore.
know. Yeah, I remember when I was young, I'd go to the Sears catalog and you go through there trying to pick out what you want for Christmas. You go to the toy section there. But this quick stop
It
at
was a
the
retailer and a catalog, but yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I think that back then I was nervous, but I had so many people that were supporting me. I really had such a great experience at the agency. Everybody was very helpful. I had good mentors, and they wanted us all to succeed. And it was great. It
so in
really
those
was.
7 years, was it all the same agency or did you go to different agencies?
No, I was at one agency, and I sort of just I grew up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I grew up there. Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's sort of, how I
Do you
how I
remember your first client for the design studio?
Yes. I was doing some work for Morris the cat.
Really?
Yes, it
That's
was
cool.
it was a calendar. Yeah, it was a calendar.
That's very cool. So did you have, was it cat shots for the calendar?
Yeah, so we had a shoot with Morris.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was
Yeah.
that? Tell me, okay, tell me about shooting with Morris. Was Morris a good cat? Did Morris do what Morris was supposed to do, or is Morris kind of like all over and the trainers having to owner or whoever?
No, he was great. He was a pro. And he got special food, but he really was treated very much like a celebrity, and his trainer was like a celebrity too.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was like the Hollywood cat.
Yeah, I remember Morris the cat. Yeah,
Yeah.
big
But
time.
yeah. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Um, like I said, I enjoyed it. Um,
Did
yeah. So
Morris have a rider?
I
Like
can't
Morris can only
remember.
eat something, or you got to take all the green M&Ms out, kind of thing.
Well, you know what? Actually, that was, the trainer had special food for him,
Right.
like special treats and food for him. And there was like he had a very special, like, I want to say, crate and truck that he traveled in. So yeah.
Ah, he is a fancy cat.
He was fancy. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I haven't talked about these things in years.
I love this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about Morris the cat.
I I know. That's why I was like, maybe we shouldn't be talking about it. Maybe we should be talking about current stuff, because people are like, oh wow.
Sometimes
That's a
that's the
long
good
time
stuff, though.
ago.
If you don't know who Morris the cat is, go look it up.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
yeah, you will like. I'll tell you what. You know what? Let me see if I can find something real quick to put up with Morris the cat, just to show everyone. Just so anybody who doesn't know, we'll see Morris the cat. There's Morris. Now let me. All right. Let's share my screen. Where's that whole thing? Oh, there it is. Share. See, there's Morris the cat. And Morris for
Yeah.
president.
Mhm.
So did Morris eat 9 lives?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course Morris ate 9 lives. What else would Morris eat? That was the special food that Morris had to have.
Yeah. And you know what? Now I'm allergic to cats.
Are you really?
Yes.
Were you then?
I don't know. I don't think so, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my
I
brother
still
made me
have
bring his
them.
cat back from LA with me.
Yeah.
Bring the cat back on the plane because he was moving back from LA and he was driving. So he was like, you
Yeah.
got to take the cat back with you because I'm not driving across country again with the cat. I was like, I'm allergic. He's like, you got to take him. So I took the cat. I almost put the cat through the x-ray machine at the
At the
check-in.
airport.
Yeah, at the airport because I had it and I threw my carry-on bag in there and I put the bag down with the cat in it to go on the conveyor belt and go in the x-ray too. And they stopped me and like, wait, is there a cat in there? I said, yeah. They go, you can't take the cat. See the cat through the
Oh
x-ray.
no. Poor kitty.
Forgot about that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So what, besides Morris, what are some of your favorite shoots or clients that you've had
Oh
over the years?
gosh, like over the years?
Yeah. And you can name 10, you can
Oh,
name 2. Just,
okay.
yeah. What are some of
So
your favorites?
Altoids.
Uh, were you on the
Love.
first Altoids?
I worked on some of the Altoids
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Loved it. Worked with Tony Giorio,
Okay.
and they were it was amazing. The creative was amazing. The whole process was amazing. We really
Was
we
that shot over here or someplace else?
it was shot in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were all very stylized sets and really well done. But yeah, it was a great shoot, great creative, lots of fun.
Yeah, those Altoids. I remember some of those commercials and ads. Those were cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's cool.
so that I really enjoyed. Lots of laughs too. Lots of laughing.
I think that's the best part about shoots is working with people that you like, that you can have fun with, and it turns into more of just a cool thing everybody's doing together as opposed to some, stressed out job that you're having to do.
Yeah, yeah, no, this was great. It was a great collaboration. So many talented, great people from both sides, agency creatives that were just brilliant and funny. And then Tony is so funny. He's a funny guy. And his team, they were so creative. And we just had a great time. There were so many laughs, and it was just so fun. It was really a great collaboration and production. Really, it was a lot of fun. So that I would say was definitely a favorite. I have so many others. But I would say one shoot in particular that I really loved and was proud of was for a cigarette company. And we shot in the Caribbean.
Is that the
And,
Parliament stuff?
hmm?
Was that the Parliament
Yes,
ads? Yeah, I was
yeah,
going to ask you about that. Those look very interesting. Those look like that's kind of shoot I'd love to do. Did you go to all those locations?
yes, yeah.
Wow.
So we went to all the locations, and some were private islands, and there was even one island that there was not like a little port, to so basically what happened is we had to have all the talent was on one boat, and then we had dinghies that would they were sort of like a little dinghy shuttle that would shuttle like the equipment and the talent from the boat to the island, because there really wasn't like a port or a dock,
Right.
for some of these islands. So it was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. It was a military
I was
operation.
going to say, how much work was all that on your end to get all that put together?
Oh, there was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but it was really exciting. Really exciting to have it be produced. One of the things that
Pull that.
happened that nobody was expecting is that there was a swell, and one of our islands that was scouted, and it was one of our locations that we were going to go to for certain scenery and all the rest. There was a swell that was unexpected that usually doesn't happen at that time of the year that we were shooting, but it happened, and sometimes that does. And the whole beach was underwater. So
Oh,
we had to find another location, and we did. Sometimes, with production, you have to problem solve sometimes in the moment. That's like part of what we do, right? So we did have a backup, and we were fine, and we got all the content that we needed. But those things happen.
okay. I'm going to pull the one that's on your website up real quick and show everybody. Here we go.
I don't know if I have all of those up. Oh, that was another shot. Those were actually in the Keys.
Okay, I was wondering where that was because I was like, it's a cool little island, but I can see a city in the background. So I was trying to figure out where that
I think
was.
that city was added.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, I was trying to figure out where in the Keys or where anywhere are you on an island like that where there's a city that close.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of adding things, and we can get back to this shoot. Okay, the dude with the bees.
Okay, so this is a combination of stuff that was shot and things that were photo composed.
Right. Okay.
So if you scroll up, for instance, this one was a photo composition of, we worked with a great retoucher that helped create our man with bees.
Yeah, I was wondering that dude really had bees on him, or if that was put in afterwards.
No, that was put in afterwards.
Oh, well, thank God, because I was thinking that's a brave dude, and I hope he got paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like this shot,
Yes.
is
That was
where was that shot?
that was shot in Los Angeles, or I would say out, up, I want to say an area outside of Los Angeles, but we hired two parkour um, guys that
Right.
were amazing, that could jump and run. And I mean, they were really in motion in the air. That is not any post work.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, okay, it looks real. So I was sitting there trying to figure out if there's post, if it was put together, somebody did an amazing job because I'm trying to figure out how they did it. And then my next thought was, did they hit the ground after this, or did they hit it on their feet and keep going, or did they just land
They
on the
pretty
ground?
much hit it on their feet. They were, I mean, like I said, these were parkour guys, and we had them in the casting, and they were jumping on furniture and chairs, and it was amazing. It was just amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. This I can kind of tell the bear was thrown in.
Yeah.
Is that a fake fish? Is that the fish fake?
Yeah, actually the fish was there was a different fish in his hands, and
Okay.
they found this particular kind of fish
All right.
that
Wow.
was added.
Yeah, that's a cool shoot.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a lot of fun.
How many locations? Was this all shot in LA or was it shot in different places?
Different places, but mostly LA.
Okay.
And you know what, you like I said, we talk, we have mutual friends, but L. Sullivan Wilson was the producer on that.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, mhm,
That's very cool.
yeah.
Okay, see also that you've you pretty much shot for tons of people and all kinds of clients from magazines to full-on campaigns. What's the biggest difference between, say, doing a campaign shoot and doing a magazine shoot? I mean, is it just a lot less work kind of a thing, or is it more fun to do one or the other?
Well, it's, I like them both. And some things, like when it's something that's done for a magazine, I would say that a lot of it is really thought out in advance, and there might be a layout that we're following very closely, where sometimes when we're with with a campaign, we might have a shot list, but I think it there might be a little bit more flexibility to be more spontaneous and also in the moment. And, we may have just a little bit more flexibility to do that than when you're shooting one specific ad and that's been signed off on.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, God, I mean, you've done a lot of cool stuff. I mean, your clients list is ridiculous. I mean, it's like everybody you can think of, it seems like, is on your client list. I'm just going to read off a couple. I mean, you got Allstate, Altoids, Wrigley, Coca-Cola, Special K, Philip Morris. I mean, Head
Yeah.
and Shoulders, Herbal Essence, Oral B, Pantene. Good Lord. I mean, it's basically who haven't you shot with? That's what it comes down to. Who haven't you produced for? I mean, worked with? It's crazy.
A couple, it, like I said, a couple, like when I was at Leo Burnett, I didn't work on McDonald's, like there was a certain team that worked on McDonald's. Like there were certain things that, I didn't touch, but I did touch quite a bit of the brands that were at the agency. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
was the coolest place you got to go to?
So,
Was most of the stuff you shot in the US, or was it just a combination of both US and international?
combination and US and offshore. I would say I loved Barcelona.
Oh,
I
nice.
love that. I also shot quite a bit in Mexico and the Caribbean, and I shot in Mexico City and the Yucatan Peninsula in an area called Merida that was very close to some Mayan ruins, which was very
Oh, that's
interesting.
cool.
Um, but yeah, I want to say a little bit of, everywhere. And then also we had one shoot in Cabo San Lucas too.
Oh, yeah, I did one there.
Yeah. And that one was a little funny because we were in an earthquake, not a big earthquake,
Really?
but a little tremor. And we were like, what's going on? It was one of those things that was not expected either.
Yeah. Was it while you were shooting or at night? When was it?
No, it was, we were like setting up for our next shot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah,
That freak
interesting.
everybody out a little bit?
Huh?
Did it freak
Yeah.
everybody out?
Yeah, people were like, "Whoa!" Some were like, "Oh, I didn't even know that happened."
Yeah. Was that the whole crew that came in from LA? Like, what? I didn't feel anything. It's just another day. Did you like Cabo?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I did.
Yeah. One of my favorite shoots was in Cabo because it was one of those where you get up before sunrise so you can get that sunrise light, and you shoot
Mhm.
till about 9:30. Then you take the rest of the day off till about 3:30, and then you show up and you shoot until sundown. And that was great. I love that. And then I think the
Sunrise
last day
is intense.
we finished at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then had the rest of the day to just go hang out and go into Cabo and have lunch and explore. And that
Oh,
was a
that's
cool shoot.
nice. That sounds wonderful. We had a pretty aggressive, I want to say, production schedule there. And our talent flew in from LA.
Okay, yeah.
And here's another funny story. Or this was another interesting situation at the time. Now I laugh about it, but at the time, no, I did not laugh about it. Um, we had cast in advance because we were traveling to Cabo, and we had cast this lovely model, and our client really, right away when we went through all our casting, he, he was like, I really love that look. That's a great look. Really, really was one of his favorite talent in the pool. So we finally get to Cabo, and the talent finally comes in. The crew was in first, and then the talent come in, and the wardrobe stylist pulls me aside and said, I need to talk with you. And I said, what? And I don't remember the name of the model, but she said, she's changed. She's changed. I don't know if her wardrobe is going to fit her anymore. And I said, what are you talking about? It hasn't been that long. She had a breast augmentation between the cast and the and production.
Really? How much had she changed?
Well, luckily we had a seamstress and we made it work.
Wow.
But it was, at the time I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, wow. I could see, yeah, especially if you went from, say, a B to a D or something ridiculous like that. I had a friend a long time ago who did that.
Yeah.
She went from literally an A to a D, and shouldn't have done that.
Oh my.
Yeah, she should have.
But anyways, that was sort of one of those things that was a surprise.
I bet it was.
Again, what, problem solving in the moment.
At least you had a seamstress.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Was it
Yes.
was it for a clothing company, a designer, fashion company, or was it for something else?
No, it was for an international tobacco brand.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, at least it wasn't something where it was designer clothing and they had, brought what they needed and then had to readjust for her. And
Well, it was
but
designer
still,
clothing
oh
because it was
wow,
a very premium brand. So it was designer clothing. And our stylist at one time was, I think, one of the editors for Vogue in the UK.
really?
So the wardrobe was really,
Oh, I
really
bet.
special, really special.
Yeah. Wow. So you've worked with a ton of photographers, I'm guessing.
Yes, I
Do you
love
have
I
your
love
favorites
it. You know,
over the
I
years?
I want to say there's so many that I love, and it just depends on the, I want to say on the category,
Right.
because there's, I can't say, oh, this one's my favorite. I could go down lists and lists.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You have a list of not your favorites?
Oh, I would never give that.
No, you don't have to. No, I don't want you to tell me. Like, I'm not looking for names. I'm just wondering if you have a list of your favorites. You have a list of like these I don't want to work with again.
Yeah. Oh, I think
Yeah.
I think every producer does,
Yeah.
sometimes it's, yeah, sometimes everyone, I think, has their lists.
Yeah.
I think the favorite list is much longer.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much
that's very
longer.
good.
Yeah, and much more vast. Yeah.
That's a
But
good.
once in a while, you might say, no, I don't think so. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Too exhausting.
I could see that. I've heard stories of photographers. I knew a guy who wasn't, I mean, he wasn't shooting anything. And this is when I first started. And this dude would make models cry. I mean, just
Mm,
like test shoots. So they were paying
no.
him to take their picture and he was making them cry.
No, you
I
know
couldn't
what?
understand
And
that.
and that's the other thing. Kindness and being just a good professional.
Yeah.
I mean, just being a good person and being professional, it's important.
Yeah.
It's
We,
so
he
important.
and I were at this convention thing. And this was, I don't even know, 30 years. Well, I guess it wasn't 30 years ago. I haven't been doing this full time that long, but it's been about 22 years ago, maybe. And we were at a convention together and he was shooting some stuff with these models. And I'd heard that, he would come in and give me a hard time every once in a while, just messing with me. But then I'd heard like he had made like one or two models cry over the 2 days or something that he'd been shooting. And so my makeup artist and I went to dinner and we were all staying in the same hotel. So I charged it to my room, which was really his room. And I just kind of faked, a signature on there. And then I left a note for the front desk. I was like, when he comes up here to check out, give him this note. Because it was a note saying, hey, it was like $25. It's like, I'm the one who charged the $25 on your room. I'll pay you back. Or, next time we see each other, I'll take you to dinner, whatever you want to do. They didn't give him the note. So he got up there, and this dude's Turkish and has a temper like ridiculous. So he got up there, he saw the extra 25 or $30 or whatever it was on his bill, started raising hell about it. Nobody told him. He spent an hour, hour and a half on this whole bill because of that 25 or $30. And then finally I came down. I was like, "Did you give him the t-shirt?" And he's standing right there. And I was like, "Why are you still here?" And he's like, I was like, "That was me." But yeah, he was. So I figured I kind of got him back a little bit for making all the models cry.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
He says that he missed a meeting and that he had a meeting in Greensboro, North Carolina with Champion or Haynes or somebody. And he says he missed the meeting because he was sitting there. I was like, dude, I'd have let the 25, $30 go if I had a meeting with those guys, back
Yeah,
then for sure. But
really.
yeah, I think he might have been lying about that.
You think
Yeah,
maybe?
possibly. Yeah. Because I can't believe anybody sane would have been like, all right, I got a meeting with Champion or Haynes and I'm going to let it go over a $25
Yeah.
thing on my ticket. So do you do a lot of portfolio reviews?
I do. I do portfolio reviews. Right now, I'm judging a one-shot competition for the International Photography Awards, which is
Oh, okay.
really exciting. I love it. And I love to do portfolio reviews. I love seeing work. And
Yeah.
I love it. I just love it. I love it. It's so inspiring. Like I just love our business, and I love it. I love sourcing talent, and I love looking at, I want to say looking at new talent, but also looking at talent that has been, I want to say been in the business for a while, but have reinvented themselves and have new bodies of work. I love that. I really do.
I can tell. That's good.
You can tell I
I
love
know
it.
it's wonderful. It's so good to see that and from somebody as opposed to just going, yeah, it's good. I understand.
No, I love what I do, and I love this business, and it is just amazing. I'm so grateful for, all my time that I've been in it, and all the relationships I've made, and all the inspiration I've received, This is great.
Yeah, this is amazing. That's amazing. How many different portfolio review kind of things have you done over the years? Like different companies, different
Oh,
or
okay.
awards or whatever.
So APA, International Photography Awards. Let's see, AIC, which that is more for post production.
Okay.
Um, gosh, there's a lot more that I'm like forgetting, like Le Book.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else? Le Book. IPA, APA, the International Conference for the Picture Archive of America. Um,
You do the Palm Beach thing or Palm,
I
not
don't do
not Palm Beach, the Palm
the Palm
Springs.
Springs
Yeah.
thing. No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
That one I don't do.
I only asked because I know Ken Zane and he does that one. So I didn't know if you and Ken like did that
Yeah,
together
I
and knew
know
each other.
Ken for
Yeah.
sure. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's a good
Anyways,
dude.
yeah, no, I don't go to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done that one, but maybe I will. I'm open.
What's the best part about sitting down with a photographer and looking through the portfolios for you?
What's the best part?
I mean, is it the critiquing? Is it just the seeing the work? Is it the critiquing and talking to the photographer and that kind of thing? Or is it just a combination of everything?
I think it's a combo of everything, but to be honest with you, I love to like look at photography. I love to also see storytelling and that one picture that's
Yeah.
um yeah, moving pictures. I mean, I want to be moved by the
Right.
pictures, and I love moving pictures too. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's a combination. And sometimes I'll say, well, where did you do this? Or how did you do it? Like, I'm very curious. I love
Right.
to hear about photographers' techniques and their point of views. I just love it. I loved it. I mean, we're all creative people. I love to like just I don't know. I love to pick everyone's brain.
That's good.
Yeah.
What do you do when if you have somebody come up to you whose book is kind of not quite ready? I mean, how do you break that down? Because me personally, when I first started shooting, I had three people that really did me a big favor.
Mhm.
And the first was a really small agency, modeling agency in Columbia, South Carolina, maybe.
Mhm.
And she told me that I was a good photographer, but my models and hair and makeup needed help. And that if I didn't get that fixed, it wasn't going to matter how well I could shoot. There was a agent in Atlanta
Mhm.
who saw my book and told me that the photography was good, but the book didn't tell a story. There was no story. There was no flow to the book. It was just random pictures just slapped in there.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then my friend Tony, who was in New York, and I've told this story 50 times, um, he looked at my book and he was an agent in New York and he flipped through my book when we first met and just stopped on the cover and went, "What the fuck is this doing in your book?" He says, "It's because of the cover." I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Get rid of it. It's the the model's terrible. The clothes aren't great. The photography's good. The lighting's good, but you
Right.
can't have this in there."
Yeah, yeah, I think everybody, well, so I think everybody critiques a little bit different. Usually, what I like to do is evaluate, and first, I like to talk about like your strengths and what
Right.
you're really great at. And then I might say, and maybe, perhaps, you might want to explore this, or have you explored doing this? So I think that's sort of how I maybe approach things.
Well,
But
that's
I think
good.
everybody's different, or, I don't think I would ever say like, "Oh, take it out of the book." But if you have
Right.
a relationship with someone
Oh, I
that's
just met
really
him
close
literally
and they're like
that
just
day.
like, "Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no," you can do that too. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I think it just depends on your relationship. But with a total stranger, or sometimes I also do reviews for Columbia College, right? So,
Oh, nice.
these are young budding artists that they need, they need encouragement, and you have to be very, very, I think, gentle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see that because if you don't, you can completely crush some people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one wants to do that. They're
No,
sharing
you
their
wouldn't think.
beautiful work. Yeah, they're sharing their work, so so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good though that I mean, I think it's good, like you said, to kind of go, this is nice, and then maybe have you thought about this or about that? And I appreciate that. And I appreciate people telling me, what doesn't work and that kind of thing as well. Because that way you don't go through with like I did a shoot. I thought it was great because I put a ton of time into it, and got this location that was difficult to get. And they didn't let just everybody come in there and shoot. And I shot it and I took it to some friends in New York and they were looking at it over dinner one night and they're like, you can't show this to anybody. And again, it came down to the model. They're like, the model and the styling. They're like, the model and the styling are not good. And all
Hmm.
I could see was everything I'd put into it
Right.
to get those
Sure.
shots. And then I didn't want to hear it. But then when I came back to my room or back to where I was staying and I looked at it again with clear eyes, I was like, okay, they're right. They're completely right. So I'm glad I showed it to them instead of sticking it in my book and my website and all that before ever. And that was, I don't know how long ago that was. That was probably, how old's my daughter? 21. So that was probably 18, probably
Years
9.
ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But I mean, that was good that you had someone to bounce things off of.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs that too, I think, is and that I think too with the pandemic. So we aren't able to, like, I think, collaborate or share
Mhm.
things as much as now it's coming back. But it's always great. I always love to bounce ideas or thoughts, or how am I going to structure this shoot, or what are you thinking? I love to ask the creatives, what are you thinking about this? I'm
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it's good that you had someone to bounce stuff off against,
Oh, I
right?
think it was, yeah, it was amazing because
Yeah.
like I told my daughters, I was like, you can't trust people online, like social media, because so when I ask somebody about something, I want to ask somebody that I know, that I trust, and I want to ask them in person. If I just want to feel good about something, no matter how bad it is, you just throw it up on Facebook or whatever, and they're, oh my God, great picture. This is so amazing. It could be the worst thing I've ever shot. And everybody's going to say how wonderful it is. So I was telling them, it's like, just because somebody says it's great on Instagram or Facebook doesn't necessarily mean it's great. Somebody's actually going to tell you the truth, and that's because I tell them that. So I'll tell them the truth on things. And I'm like, I don't know about this or about that. And they're like, ugh. I'm like, well, you want me to lie to you and just tell you everything's wonderful when it's not? I'm trying to help you and improve you. And so I
Yeah,
think it's good to have somebody to bounce stuff off of.
yeah, that's for sure.
How do you work when you get a job come in? How does that work for you from, say, okay, I'm thinking about this Marshalls. I saw that you did like a climbing wall thing. That was cool.
Oh, my experiential project.
Yes. How
Yeah.
does that work from the time they come in and go, hey, here's what we want to do. We want to do this Marshalls, we want to do this climbing wall or whatever it is. How do you start that and find all the creatives and that you're going to need and all the detailed stuff that you have to handle? How does that work for you?
Well, that particular project was a 6-month project.
Wow.
Yeah,
It must have been
yes,
fun.
from start to finish, because um, that billboard was created, built, um, right in front of the Flatiron Plaza there, so, but there were everything from blueprints that had to be approved by the city. and and at the beginning, the creatives wanted to have the consumers actually climb the wall, where of course we couldn't do that from a legal standpoint, so then we
Right.
had professional climbers, and everything needed to be tested, but it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, to set it up right there.
Yes, and for this particular project, it was this one. I think there were a lot of different vendors involved, because there was a lot of coordination. Not only that, but we we had to also film it, and we did stills, and then all of this had a social media deadline. So this was one day.
Oh, wow.
And then at 6 o'clock, when we shut down, we went over to an edit studio, and we had a deadline of 11 p.m. to put all this stuff online for social. So basically, I had a runner coordinating from the edit studio that were taking cards from the video team, and they would be going into a coffee shop, and they were doing, some edits, some quick
Wow.
edits and clips, and marking things, and then going back and loading those in the edit system. So we had a whole another military operation.
Sounds like it. Does this play? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might. I think it might. But yeah, so
So this is all the video you shot that day.
some of it, yeah,
Wow.
like a little portion of it. But yeah.
Wow. So these people just get to pick what's up on there that they wanted, and they
Okay,
climber
so
went there and got
I'll
it.
give you a little. Okay, so this was for Father's Day,
Right.
and all of the gifts up there were, gifts for Dad. And so basically, a consumer would come up and they'd have to tell a dad joke and at the mic. And we also had PR include these amazing MCs, and they were from an improv group in New York. And we had a different MC like every 2 hours. So there was like fresh blood up at the podium all the time.
Oh wow.
And basically these were, I want to say, pre-screened dad jokes on
Right.
cards.
That's
And then
probably good.
after they would recite their dad joke, if you could see around the billboard, there was a light that went around
Oh
and
yeah.
it stopped on a quadrant, and they got to pick an item from that particular quadrant, and then the climber would go up and bring it down to them. Now, things like the kayak, some of the
Right.
larger items had to be bolted on and they couldn't come off, but then there was a kayak that was in the tent. There was like a gift tent.
Okay.
Because if they would have to, the climber would take down a number, and say,
Right.
oh, they got the kayak number 24 or whatever.
That's really cool. That's a
Yeah,
great
so it was
idea.
fun. It was really fun. It was a different project. Not, you know what I mean? It wasn't something that was your typical experience.
Right.
But it was really great. It was really
When
great.
you're looking for a photographer, a director, something like that, do you get input from the creative director, the art directors at a time as to, hey, well, of course, the project, but did they ever go look at these like five photographers or two photographers or whoever it is, or I'm really liking this photographer. What do you think? Or did they leave it kind of up to you to try
I
and
think
find
it's
the
a
directors?
combination. It's a combination. Sometimes the creatives have a vision, an idea, or they may have a style in mind. And what I'll say is, hey, this is fabulous. Do you want me to supplement too? Do you want me to find similars? Or sometimes they say, Lisa, this is what I'm looking for. Can you source it for me? So I think it's a little bit of both. And I think it really depends too on the creatives and the team. And, it's usually a nice collaboration. I always do like to at least supplement for them just in
Right.
case, because you never know if that particular photographer is available or out of our price range or whatever. So
Right.
it's always good to have a few options, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When do you find your photographers just from like websites that you get sent? Do you find them on Instagram, or you finding them just word of mouth? Is it all everything?
I think it's a combination of things. I, still use some of the source books online, but I'll look at source books. I also, when I like something, I bookmark it,
Right.
or I like a style or whatever. Um, I used to have folders that I would keep, when I
Oh
would get
yeah.
all these promos, I would keep these folders filled with samples that I was like, yeah, let me go to this for, I like these, blah, blah, blah. But then the folders got so big, but yeah, so I look everywhere really. I don't like to go too much to Instagram because I'm one of these people that I want to go in and out, and I want to
Right.
get exactly what I need. Like I want the links for my creatives. I want to send it to them so they have a lot to, look through. And when I go to Instagram, unfortunately, what happens is I start to like go, oh, look at that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
And I get distracted. And when I go to someone's website, I'll be like, okay, I'm on a mission. I need to focus and get here. But yeah, Instagram, I start to get like,
Oh,
oh,
I get it. Yeah. I've done that on Instagram all the time. I'll go to Instagram to look up somebody and I see something and and then I go, wait, I'm on here for a reason, but why was that? I can't remember who I was
yeah,
supposed
I'm
to look
like, I
up.
gotta stay focused.
Yes, exactly. So do you like websites? So if you're going to a website, do you prefer the website that pops up with a bunch of, say, thumbnails of everything, kind of give you a variety of what the photographer does on there? Or would you prefer, because I've seen them somewhere that you have the big opening page, landing page with a big picture, and then you off of that you can choose whether you want to go to a whole list of different things. Is there one way that you prefer over the other?
I just prefer that it's well organized and that there's a phone number as well as an email to contact
Yes.
instead of one of those contact
I hate those things.
pages.
Yes.
Because for me it's usually we're under deadline. So you know what we want to call, right? Like I want to call, hi,
Right.
are you available? No, that's true, really. Or if I have questions, I want to call you and I want to talk with you. I don't want to have to email it,
Right. I've heard that
right?
from so many people. They're like, we need a phone number and don't give me the form to fill out.
Yeah,
Just let me, or I guess if you do have that stupid form to fill out, put an actual email up under it or above it as well. So I can just grab that and go. I don't have to fill out this form if
yeah,
I want to do it. I've heard it from multiple
yeah.
people.
Yeah. It just, we have to move so fast.
Mhm.
And also sometimes I also like to know even though I know everybody's like, so, hey, I could shoot anywhere as a local. I also like to know where you're based.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, I might be looking for someone local in a certain area and not knowing where you are. So like that's the other thing. Have your studio address. This is where, I'm based here. It's good to know.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
like those little things are so helpful, especially when, you're moving fast.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I've heard from multiple people. It's just that they basically want to be able to pull up the site, get a good idea, and they can
Yeah.
usually figure it out in the first, 3, 4 seconds whether it's going to work for what they're looking for or not, and then they
Mhm.
can take the time to dive in more or move on,
Yeah. Mhm.
depending on what it is. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the final question because we've been coming up on
Final.
about an hour almost.
All right.
Um, so, what is the coolest or strangest thing that's happened to you since you've gotten into this business?
Oh, wow. You know, this is so hard. I think my whole job is cool. I've had
Yeah, I
so
agree
many
with
cool
that.
experiences. There's not one. There's not one. There's so many. And I want to say cool experience. Like,
Even like I had
wow.
one person tell me that they did a shoot down in South America, and they had hired this production company that was local, who they didn't really know anything about, and they had gotten vehicles, and they had where they were going was very remote, so they had gas cans for the vehicles. Well, overnight, somebody had sucked all the gas, stolen all the gas out of the gas cans, and they didn't know it. So they get there and they got stuck, or somewhere someone told me that a truck turned over right on the location, a tractor trailer turned over right on the location where they were on their way to set up to shoot. So
Oh,
in
well,
there,
okay, so cool. Okay, so this was sort of fun. I had just finished a shoot in the Caribbean, and there was like a hurricane that was coming through, and we couldn't leave. And so we had to stay. We had to stay. We
wow.
got stuck.
So you got to stay longer because of the hurricane. Did the hurricane come through?
It did, but not by us. But they
Oh,
weren't letting
right.
flights out because it's too dangerous. But it was like, wow, I'm stranded in paradise.
That's terrible.
It was it's a true story. And I was like, wow,
How
this is
long were you
amazing. That was
stranded?
cool. That was cool.
Yeah. How long
Yeah.
did you have to stay extra?
I think it was 2 days, 2 or 3 days, I
So you
think.
got to
Yeah.
just hang out and be on vacation, kind of
Yeah. And the
ish.
thing is, the internet was not, it was spotty because you're in
Oh, even
the island,
better.
you know? So it was very nice.
Yeah, I bet.
It was
I wish
very
I could
nice.
help you, but their internet's terrible and I'm stuck down here. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do.
I mean, I did get a lot of work done, of
Right.
course, wrapping up a job and all the rest. I mean, there was
What a
some,
better place to wrap it up.
but what a place to wrap,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Nice.
Exactly. Well, that's great.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
I had like, I had to, take um I had to take all these weather report
Oh,
screen
yeah.
grabs and things like that because you need to have that for, proof that it was really a hurricane.
Right.
But
That you
yeah.
weren't just kind of hanging out for an extra 2 or 3 days and just chilling.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lisa,
Mhm.
thank you so much. This was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I did too. Thank you. This was good.